All right. It's been high time for all of us to come out of our comfort zone, okay? Our literal comfort zone. And before the wicked end gets here, I want to try my best to have a very healthy dialogue here. Because all of our experiences, whether we like it, comprehend it, understand it or not, they're different. Every one of our experiences are different. I think the problem that we have, matter of fact, I know the problem that we have in this country, is the inability for one sect of people to actually view, comprehend, and understand the plight of another sect of people. All right? Let's go with that. And I've seen many, many times in this country dialogue to bring awareness and attention to certain issues that are pressing. It may not be pressing for you, but they are pressing for other people. And in this country, the truth is, as long as you are doing what they call peaceably protesting, and as long as you are functioning after what they say and how you should do it, they'll give you a license, they'll give you approval to go ahead and do that. And when you get finished with it all you've done is just wasted time. That's all you've done. Time, energy, and effort is all that you've done. You've solved and resolved nothing, and then everybody goes back to business as usual. What people don't want in this country is they don't want someone to talk about these same issues, and then pain is involved in these issues, making people feel uncomfortable when that is involved in these issues. That's when people get defensive. That's when people start to take a hardline position on one side of the fence or the other. And when you do that, you have all but closed your ears, shut your eyes, to be able to really truly discern and hear the experiences of others. You know, America, the country, America, at least the America that has been taught to us, that has been ingrained in our mind from elementary and junior high school all the way up to high school. We have had a certain perspective presented to us. And I can tell you right now that I'm older, and even when I was young, getting older, the questions have always risen in my mind is, why come my people, speaking people of melanated color, have a hue to their skin? They have melanin in their skin. Why is it that it seems like as a whole, we don't have the same equality all the way across the board? They tell us that we're one nation under God. But yet and still, there's a certain demographics in this country that they have never had to have an amendment to the Constitution in order to make things right for them. They have never, ever really truly had to protest for equality, because this equality is already there for them. Can you shut this door, please? The equality is already there for them. They've never had to do that. I know that we don't like having discussions like this because it's too painful, but let's just look at America itself and let's just tell the truth about America. America was born out of protests. Let's just deal with some historical facts here for a second, because the truth, which is often very painful. I don't care if it's social, political, economics, religious, perspective, point of view. It makes no difference. Anytime that you are promoting the truth, you're dealing with the truth, it makes people uncomfortable. And the one thing that Americans do not like is they do not like being uncomfortable. They love staying in their matrix. They love being blinded and dumb on purpose. We love that because we're comfortable with being ignorant. And I myself personally found out a long time ago that when you're ignorant, when you're willfully ignorant, that people are taking advantage of you, the system is taking advantage of you, and you have no recourse, and you cannot take action in order to preserve, to defend, and to protect you and your family and the interest that you have for you in order to prosper in the future, because there's always somebody there ready to take it from you. America was born out of protest. We all agree with that. We wanted to get out from under this monarchy of king, queen, and stuff, and England having its titans, its hands in every single thing that we tried to do as a country. All right. Henceforth, i.e., the Boston Tea Party, when they threw all that tea into the harbor, that was a shot across the bow. We ain't taking this no more. But why is it that it's okay for us to protest like that? And mind you, the people of melanated color, people who have a hue, people who look like me in different colors and in the spectrum in this country, we were not free at all at that time. As a matter of fact, the Constitution of the United States of America, when it says, and we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and they are endowed by their creator. Let me stop right there for a moment. Because when that was written, my people wasn't free. That may be painful to you, but it is the truth. And when it says that all men were created equal, it was not talking about the people that have melanated skin, have melanin in their skin. It was not talking about us at all. We wasn't even included in that conversation. Not only that, white women was not even included in that conversation because neither one of us had a voice or a right to vote. So this country was born out of protest, whether we like it, comprehend it, understand it or not. What we don't like is people protesting issues that are sensitive to them. Because when you're on this side of the aisle and this side of the fence, and when you see systemic problems that continually keep arising over and over and over and over again, you get to the point that the pain becomes so unbearable, you have to do something about it. Because if you don't, you will literally die. The Constitution of the United States of America also said that my people were 3/5 human. The person who wrote the Star-Spangled Banner, the national anthem, was a racist. When he said, "To the land of the free." Stop for a second. Let's just ask ourselves a question. Did that apply to people who have melanated skin? This is be truthful. Again, I know because, in the Bible says in Galatians 4:16, "Have I become your enemy because I tell you the truth?" Jesus said in John 8:32, "that you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." It's going to make you free. And I say it again, people, they don't want to know the truth because it's too painful. Because once you know the truth, you can no longer hold to your position. You can no longer hold to your tradition. You can no longer hold on to your ideology, your theology that is built on pseudo lies, systemic racism and discrimination, and be comfortable. When someone doesn't bring up those issues, you can feel comfortable. And what we really truly want is we want the discussion of racism and police brutality. We just want it to go away. We think that it's just going to disappear if we stop talking about it. In your mind, it may do that. But the people who are continually keep suffering pain, the pain only gets worse. It gets to the point that is unbearable. Can you understand that? So, unless you protest and make people uncomfortable, force them to have to deal with being uncomfortable, nothing will change. I'll give you another example. I'm going to give you two more examples, okay, before I go on. Let's just deal with some facts here. I think it was at some awards. It started off like this. I think it was Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony, and LeBron James. What they did was they used that platform. They dressed in black. They used that platform to try to bring attention to a systemic problem here in America, which is police brutality. Definitely police brutality against a certain demographics. Some people applauded. Some people got upset. That was the end of that. That was the total end of that. Never heard nothing else. Colin Kaepernick peacefully sits down during the national anthem. Draws so much attention. Now the media, you have to understand, they don't too much care about what you think, what I think. All they care about is ratings. And they are professional spin doctors. And they know how to control the narrative. They know how to control the public. Because the public is ignorant as hell. Just literally. They love being ignorant on political issues. They love being ignorant and ignoring the fact on social issues. They love being ignorant and dumb on purpose on religious issues. They love being stupefied on the economy, thinking that somehow, some way, that you take ironclad slugs and paper, you're going to continue to keep prospering as a country, and debt is king. I tell you, there's so many digressions you can go in this video, but I'm going to stay the course. I'm just setting the perspective. And then in Baltimore, people try to tell the mayor, they try to tell the state, they wrote letters, they've done everything possible in their power to try to tell them there's a bad problem, a very bad problem in this country. Now, if you don't live in inner city, if you didn't grow up in the ghetto, if you didn't grow up in the projects, if you didn't grow up in the environment that other people grew up in, sorry, but the truth is, you're not going to be sensitive towards somebody else's experience because you've never experienced it. And so therefore, when you view things, when you see something takes place, you see it happening, when you view it, you're looking at it from an alternate conscious, an alternate paradigm. And it's hard to get people to really truly look at something unless, again, they get uncomfortable. And then, and only then, will they be put into a position where they are forced to find out what type of integrity of heart and mind and spirit do they really truly have. Are they really truly a woman, a man or woman of truth? Or are they comfortable in living in their lives? See, we hate facing ourselves. We really truly do. We hate facing ourselves. I don't care what it is. We literally hate facing ourselves. Cop shooting. Started murdering people even more so. Cold blood. It wasn't until they tore the city up, the people of melanated skin. And I might add, also people who stood in solidarity with them. Because anytime you deal with different protests like Black Lives Matter, you do not only see black people out there, you see almost equally white, Hispanics, and other demographics. You see them out there, but the news media is not in their best interest to put forth that because they are there for ratings. They're using you. They're using you. And they are stoking the flames by using you and spinning the narrative. And when you hear somebody say what you already think you believe to be true, you automatically agree. For instance, I gave you, it wasn't until they tore that city up. Now, all the legislators, now all the city officials, now all the politicians want to come to the table and talk. Now they want to, but look, what did it take? What did it take in order for us to get England's attention? War. That's what it took. For glory's sake, war. That's what it took. Now let's talk about me. When I was born into this world, my mother and father lived in a housing projects. Long time ago in the 60s. They moved from the housing projects, still in the inner city, in East Nashville. They had a house. Things were bad. On my end of the street, things were quiet. It was okay. But no more. I mean, you could actually, I would say 3 or 4 football fields down the road. Almost every single night, gunshots. Pow, 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 pow. Somebody done got shot. Somebody done got killed. Over and over and over. For those of you who live in Nashville, you know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about Cleveland Street. Right down there. And Center Court is just not too far from around there. And J.C. Napier Court is the project that I lived in when I was a little bitty boy. Well, as any concerned parents, we moved. We moved outside into what you call suburbs. It was very peaceful. It was very quiet. The environment looked real good. I mean, everything did good for a while. And as time and chance would have it, the city started expanding, and then the violence, the corruption, the drugs start coming out there. And my mother and father, again, moved from there into another house. And it still didn't stop it. Well, anyway, I went into the military. You already know that. I was a paratrooper for 10 years in the 82nd Airborne Division and a Joint Readiness Training Center Op 4. All right. I got shipped overseas in 89, and then that time was the first Gulf War that took place. I didn't even get to see my family for a year and 3 months. 1 year and 3 months. I totally missed my daughter's birth, being born. All right? And I've got many, skills. You know what I mean? Air assault, qualify, all this other stuff, all right? And I'm in the military serving the country the whole 9 yards. All right, I get out of the military and I work. I pay off all debts that I had. I worked 3 jobs prior to this community. I buy a piece of land way up here in the country. I didn't know. All I did was just buy a piece of land. All right. I did not know when I bought this piece of land that I moved to a racist, segregated, well, it can't be segregated because there wasn't no blacks up here really until I got here. A very racist community. And since I've been here in this particular county in Tennessee, I've had racism and discrimination perpetuated against me from the sheriff's department because people would come here and ask for directions to the ministry here, and the sheriff's deputies would have the audacity to say the cult is that way. Is that not amazing? Is that now? Because I would say if I'm a cult, then what the hell is all these Christian churches down here that lie to you every week? They go to church on the wrong day of the week, calling it a rest day, and they break every commandment in the book. But yet I'm the cult. Utterly amazing. And the only reason why I receive any discrimination here is because of the melanation in my skin, the color of my skin. I've had eggs thrown at my house. I've had people come down here, drive at this driveway right here. I got all kinds of police reports. Drive at this driveway right here. Turn around on this road, holler all type of obscenities and racial slurs. They didn't even care. They're little children. 2, 3, 4, 5 years old is out here playing in the field. They didn't care. Holler all kind of racial slurs and discriminations. They would leave up here firing shots in the air and stuff. I've had swastikas painted on my mailbox at the top of the hill. My neighbor up here, who is a white trucker with his wife, have had nooses put around their signs and swastikas painted on their property that says nigger lovers, because they're just good people to us and we're good to them. They decimate public property. They paint graffiti on the bridges, swastikas, and it says F you niggers. I'm like, what in the world? Now, you people say that racism don't exist. That's what you say. That's all I ever experienced since being up here. Now, the difference with me is that Pastor Dowell ain't no punk. You see, these people will say all these things and they will slander and do all these things and lie and do everything, all this stuff. And if you're white and you support me, you're even a greater traitor. You're even greater trouble up here. And what's amazing is that these cowards, be they law enforcement or just people in general, they all know who I am. I'm the most popular man in this county. The most popular man in this county. I've asked for open discussions and debates, civil discussions and debates, against any preacher up here. Can't get it. They ain't going to do it either. Because you know why? Because I'm a man of truth. And I would just greatly disturb their tradition and their apple carts. So what I'm saying is, I had a sheriff one time that a guy came down here and did some nonsense. I followed him. They wasn't banking on that. They come blaring out of here. I mean, just to the point you think they're going to hit a tree or something and kill themselves. I caught up to him. I said, you come down there again. You step foot on my property again. You decimate anything that I have again. You will never, ever do that again. I promise you that. I immediately went to the sheriff's department, made a report. You know that these idiots got on the phone and called the sheriff on me after coming down here and vandalizing my property? The sheriff got in his vehicle, the deputy sheriff did, drove out to where they were, and he told me, he said this. He says, I'm going to tell y'all people something right now. If you want to stay alive, and if you want to live out your days in this life, you do not go down there messing with people who know what they are doing. That's my advice to you. That's what the deputy sheriff told them. And he gave them good advice. And it's just sad. It's just sad. You see, most of you live in a bubble. You live in a make-believe world that you created. That you really true. You got this America in your mind that you think exists, but it's not the same for me. It's not the same for people who are of the same hue that I have. It's just simply not the same. And unless we bring up the painful issues, the topic of discussions that you want to ignore, you know, it's kind of like the proverbial elephant in the room. You know it's there, but just don't talk about it and hope it'll go. It ain't going to go away. It's still going to stay there. Well, I'm going to talk about it. Police brutality is a systemic problem in this country. You know, I just saw it this morning. Y'all remember Sandra Bland, right? The county just settled with Sandra Bland. They settled for $1.8 million, and then some other part of the county settled for $100,000. And so her mother got $1.9 million for the injustice or the unjust death of her daughter. Now, in this country, when people settle, it is an admission of guilt, but they're just not saying that they were wrong. They fired the cop, but they did not indict him. Think about that for a second. They fired him, but they didn't indict him. He's still murdered. Now, if I remember correctly in history, you had the slave master, or you had the slave owner, then you had the slave master. And the master is usually the one that would turn around and would carry out the beatings and would carry out whatever the slave owner wanted to be done. He's a slave master as well. And if he killed a slave, no big deal. No big deal. No sin done. Same thing's going on today. And that's the reason why. So when Colin Kaepernick, he clearly told us, we heard it with our own ears out of his own mouth. We heard it. He says, I cannot support a country that continually have a problem with police brutality, of killing innocent black people, and they constantly get off. They constantly get off and nothing is ever done. And I watch the media spin it. I watch people get all in a rage. I watch their feelings and emotions go crazy. I watch people reverse the narrative, spin the narrative, try to make this man something that he isn't, that he's not. And I'm just, it's a circus. It's always a dog and pony show to me. It's utterly amazing when I see it. And I'm going to tell you again, I'm going to say it again. Because dealing with facts and dealing with truth, it makes people uncomfortable. And people don't want to be uncomfortable. They don't want to be challenged in being uncomfortable. And I'll say it again, America was born out of protest. Did y'all hear what I said? America was born out of dissent. America was. But when we protest, when we dissent, all of a sudden we're racist, there's something wrong with us, and blase, 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 blase. So they've had to amend the Constitution to say that black people are no longer 3/5 human. They had to, think about it, during the days of Jim Crow, when you had white-only bathrooms, black-only or colored bathrooms, when I couldn't go into, or my people couldn't go into a black restaurant. We couldn't go into a white restaurant and be served because we don't serve your kind here. Those people back then, can you imagine their attitude? Those people back then actually believed that they were functioning right. You think about that mindset. The framers of the Constitution actually believed that they were thinking right. Francis Scott Key actually believed that he was clothing in his right mind. And here we are today, still facing the same issues that have not gone away. And people still think they're right. Can you imagine how much of a hero Colin Kaepernick is going to look? Even the more so in 10 years. And look, now that people are forced into a position to where they have to hear what he's really truly saying, regardless of the media spin, regardless of the racist comments of Bill O'Reilly, regardless of all these people that are trying to control your mind and not allow you to think freely. What he has done and what he is still doing is being heard. I know one thing, Colin Kaepernick is more of a man than Cam Newton would ever be. Because when Cam Newton was asked about it, he was protecting his brand. He was protecting his millions. He's protecting his bottom line because there are a lot of NFL players. Look at this. Show you how racist organizations are that have lost endorsements simply because of their stand. And they're trying to make it an issue that you are disrespecting the veterans. First of all, number one, listen, I'm a 10-year veteran. And I don't think that anybody that is protesting anything in this country is disrespecting the flag. I don't think they're disrespecting this country at all because you know why? As a veteran, that is one of the rights that I was in the military for, is to give you that right and to protect you for that right to protest. Why is it that as a veteran, I clearly get it. I see it. I fought so that you could have the right to protest if you want to. I may not like a lot of things that you believe, and I don't. I may not like a lot of things that you do, and I don't. I may not like a lot of things that you stand for. I had a stand for it, I don't. I had somebody the other day. We was having a conversation. I said, I don't like that up here in Lafayette, Tennessee, that they fly now all of a sudden Confederate flags all over the place. But I know the one thing they won't do is they will not go in the inner city of Nashville with those big ass flags flying on the back of these trucks because chances are there will be a crossfire from hell. You're going to see, in other words, they're bold when they're around each other. And I sit there and I look at them when they're flying these flags. You know what they do? They turn their head real quick and act like they don't see me. Now you tell me what that is, if it isn't something cancerous in the heart. Now, I'll tell you, I don't like them flying their flags, but you know what? I support them, their right to fly. They can fly all the flags they want. They got license plates up there, Confederate, all they want. They can, hey, go ahead on. Because I know that the majority of the demographics here in this country that flies the Confederate flag are ignorant as hell. They don't know anything about history. They know the spin. They don't know the truth about the Confederate flag. They don't know what Robert E. Lee says. They don't know what Abraham Lincoln stood for. They told you he freed the slaves like hell he did. No, he did not. He could care less about the slaves. The Confederate flag is a symbol of racism, period. Now, you fly it, it don't bother me. It does not trouble me at all. That you're right, because I'm an educated, intelligent man of hue, a melanated color. And it doesn't trouble me. I understand the reason why you do it. I'm glad to know who you are. That I am. That I am. All you did was just tell me who you are, because, you know, when you look at these homes and places that are well-to-do, you don't see Confederate flags flying all over the place. You don't even see it on the front of their Escalades or Mercedes or BMWs. You see these flags on these broke down, tore down cars and these trailers that look like a chicken coop. That's where you see these flags flying there. I'm like, what in the world? And of course, most of you don't know what Lyndon B. Johnson said about you white people out there. No, you don't. You ought to go check out what I talked about it a few videos ago. But the powers that be, the movers and shakers in this country, they have a total different attitude towards you, the middle class and the poor white people, than they do with the rich. You need to go understand this. You really, truly do. I am viewed different in America. I get it. I know it. Do I accept it? Not really. I just function. I function in the truth, the honor, and the righteousness that I know to function in. I get accused of being racist. And the first thing I do is tell people, go to my website, straightway.com or straightwaytruth.com. Tune in to our live services every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And you know what's amazing? People say, look at all them black folks live down there. There are more people of different nationalities that live on this community than people who you call black. And when they come down here and they start seeing all these educated, because half our community, if not more of them, are all educated. They're either veterans or they have degrees. It's utterly amazing. So Straightway, contrary to popular opinion, is not a stupid, ignorant, dumb community like most of you people think. Neither is the ministry itself. But when people go to my website and they see the people, they see the pictures, I never hear back from them. I guess shame is too great for them because they never respond back. But you know, it's just a sad situation in this country, and it's unfortunate. But we're not going to change anything soon. But I know one thing. I do know that if the fight keeps going, that it's going to force more people to be uncomfortable, and that's what people don't like. Truth always sets free. And I thank Colin Kaepernick for standing. And I'll say it again, he's more of a man than Cam Newton ever would be. And I thank him for drawing attention to this, and I thank him for his strength too. I'm just utterly amazed in this country how people just can't see things for what they are. You know, I got a dear friend down in Florida. You know him, J. Snip 4. And J. Snip 4, man, he's just a straight shooter. He's just a straight shooter. And you do well to go check out his channel, J. Snip 4. Man, just a beautiful brother, beautiful friend in the ministry. Just really, truly is. And he clearly sees everything that's going on. He just don't get with the BS. He just don't. It's just amazing. I think I'm going to close in this video by telling you all that this is not going away. And it never will go away. And I know you hate hearing it, but I'm going to say it again. There have been a people who have been brought over to this country against their will. They built this country and made America the greatest nation on the face of this planet Earth because of cotton. They have never been recompensed. They have never, ever had any restitution whatsoever at all. It was against the law for my ancestors to read in this country. You got the death penalty. It was against the law to write in this country. You got the death penalty. When they formed the Christian churches, they had a minister up there that was trained by the white man in order to be able to speak from their perspective and point of view, how the Bible says. See, but now we skip all these many years. I can pick up that Bible and I can read. And I see it clearly what it says. And when I start preaching it, that's when people get disturbed. You know why? Because Pastor Dowell makes people uncomfortable. And are they uncomfortable about what I'm saying? Yes, they are. Because what I'm saying is totally different than the lenses that your religion and this country has given you. All you have to do is take off them. If you don't need your vision impaired, take them off. Read the text for what it says itself. And guess what? I guarantee you that you'll come to the same conclusion that I've come to. But this will not go away, because there has never, ever, ever been any closure in this country on a certain demographics of people. If America wants this all to go away, and we can start this slate clean, because my people have just as much of a stake in this country as anybody does, because we built this nation, whether you like it, comprehend, understand it or not. When you wrong someone and you do them wrong, restitution has to be made. You hate to hear this word. Why are we giving Israel reparations? Why are we giving the Japanese reparations? I bring it up because payment has to be made in order to satisfy the debt. And America's not going to do it. That's the reason why. I'm telling you the reason why it's not going away. It just simply is not going away. And the next time you see somebody protest from the melanated community, the people who have melanin in their skin, I also want you to be able to see who else is out there with them on these issues. Because the media don't want that. The media wants ratings and they want to control your mind. Police brutality is a problem in this country. It's not going nowhere anytime soon. I understand that I am viewed totally different in this country. I am. I know that. And I understand that many of you will never, ever, ever be able to understand my plight because your experience is different. I'm glad that there's attention being brought to this in healthy dialogue. I never have been able to understand racism, white supremacy, and discrimination. I never have. Don't think I ever will either. Never have. Don't think I ever will. But anyway, I hope I said something to try to educate you as we're coming up on the wicked end this weekend. I hope that instead of being controlled by feelings and emotions when they take place, they just happen. And then, rather than responding from them, that you'll start paying attention to them and see the reason why you're so offended, the reason why you're so upset, the reason why that you become so defensive. Because when I saw Colin Kaepernick sit down, I knew exactly what he's doing. I didn't receive any offense. Not one time did it enter my mind that he was disrespecting the American flag, even though the American flag, to people of my hue, who have melanated skin, is the greatest symbol of racism that has ever been perpetuated upon humans, all of humanity. And even, I think one thing that about me is that I've been out of America. I have lived in other countries. And I've been to other places. And I know what other countries say about America. And especially about how the black people, that's how they term it and qualify in this country, how the black people are treated. Most of you ain't never been out of this country to know what the worldwide view of this country is. And I'm going to tell you right now, it ain't good and it ain't healthy at all. And when war comes to this land, and it will come, because whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap. We have sown to the wind in America. We have destroyed sovereign countries and nations. We have killed innocent civilians and murdered and slaughtered them. And we have hold ourselves guiltless. We have oppressed other countries. We have murdered and decimated entire families and called it a necessary evil because of collateral damage. We got them. You're not going to sow all that carnage and hell all across this world and it not come to your own backyard. America, get yourself ready, because it won't be just one or two countries turning against us. You're going to have united countries, all confederate together at one, that will come and decimate and murder and kill the people in this country. And one reason why that they're going to murder and kill the people in this country, because you didn't do anything about your government. We're going to reap the whirlwind in this country. You can't sow all this evil and injustice and expect not for it to come. It's coming. You get yourself ready. It is coming. And that's the truth. And that's the truth straight way.